Hi, my name is Aura and I'm from Texas. Please like and subscribe. I live with my granny and she's pretty much the only person I'm close with on this planet. After my mom and dad passed away, she took me in and raised me. But growing up, I didn't have many friends. I was always focused on my studies. And that's how I was able to bag a scholarship to one of the finest schools in the city. But things took a wild turn in the 10th grade. It all started when I decided to ride my bicycle to school one day. But just as I was about to park it, I tripped over something, and my bicycle went crashing into a car nearby. Shoot! The car looked really expensive, and now it had a dent the size of an elephant. I was the queen of broke people. I'd never be able to pay for the damage. I had to get out of here. But just then, two evil-looking shadows showed up behind me, and one of them caught me. Look at that. She ruined your car, and now she's running from the crime scene. Holy Jesus, not the 𝗕𝗔𝗦𝗬𝗘𝗦. Jacob and Adam were the two richest and hottest kids in school, but everyone was scared of them because they were really big bullies. And now I rammed their car. This was the worst day ever. I wasn't running, and I didn't ruin it on purpose. I just accidentally...
Oh, kitty. Accidentally or not, you're gonna have to pay for this.
Well, listen, man, I can't pay for it. You want my bicycle? You can have that.
You're making jokes now? You better arrange the money or else.
Oh, God, what was I gonna do about these bullies? And just then I remembered I'd seen them bullying a kid really badly after school recently. So I just blurted out, I know your secret, and I'm gonna tell it to the principal.
What secret?
I know what you guys did last Monday. For a second, they looked stunned, but then Jacob screamed,
What? How? How do you know that?
Judging from their freaked out faces, I could tell it was something else, and something really big that they'd done, and they thought I knew? This was perfect. Well, I'm not gonna tell you here. I'll tell you in front of the principal. Let's go now.
No. Wait, we can talk this out. Yeah, and you don't need to pay for anything. Here, let me check if your bike's broken. I'll buy you a new one, as many as you want. We'll do anything you say. We'll be your errand boys, but please, just don't tell anyone.
What in the father freaking world? The two most powerful senior guys in school were totally at my mercy, and I didn't even know why. But I pretended to keep it cool because I didn't want them to know I was bluffing. Sure, then how about you start with carrying my bag? It's so heavy, my hand hurts. As I went around school that day with these two acting like my personal bodyguards, kids were looking at me like I was a magician who had the 𝗕𝗔𝗦𝗬𝗘 wrapped around my finger. The next day, as I stepped out of my house, Jacob was already waiting for me in his brand new car. This was just getting better.
Hey, I'm here to pick you up. So tell me, do you want to go to the beach today or the movies?
What? No. I want to go to school and attend my classes. I have to submit my assignments next week.
Aw, come on, Aura. You should enjoy yourself and not study so hard. Adam can do your assignments. He does mine all the time. No big deal.
That sounded good, but I wasn't sure if I trusted them enough to hang out with them outside school. What if they planned to kidnap me because of whatever their stupid secret was? So I insisted on going to school. When we reached there, they kept following me around. At first, it felt like I was some princess. But as the day went by, I realized this was a big problem. I had ballet practice after lunch, and just as I entered the girls' changing room, all the girls started screaming. When I turned around, I was stunned to see those two morons had followed me in. Have you both lost it? This is the girls' changing room.
All the more reason for us to be here, right, Adam?
I pushed them out and locked the door from inside. But when I went to the dancing room, they were already there, dressed in ballerina's clothes and dancing like toads. What the frickin' crabs? What are you guys doing? You don't have to follow me everywhere.
Yes, we do. We can't risk it. What if you go and tell the principal behind our backs?
I won't do that.
Well, guess what? We don't trust you.
They just wouldn't leave. And when it was my time to perform, they both started cheering and hooting like they were my craziest fans. What could be the big secret that was making them do all these things to keep me from going to the principal? But as much as I wanted to know, I wanted to get rid of them too. The next day, I left home before they could get here. And even at school, I was on my toes watching out for them. Then during lunchtime, this football jock at school, who I had a huge crush on, came and sat next to me.
You're the popular girl who tamed those rich brats, and I'm impressed. I like strong and dominating girls like you. How about we go out?
Adam picked him up by the collar and threw him out of the seat.
How about I give you a taste of strong and dominating guys?
Adam, stop! What are you doing? As soon as Adam let him go, he just ran away. Ugh, why did you do that? He was gonna ask me out.
He asks everyone out. He's a jerk.
Oh, have you looked in the mirror lately? You're the bigger jerk here. With that, I pushed him aside and stormed out of there angrily. Later that day, I was in the library when I saw that football jock kissing some girl behind a bookshelf. Adam was right. He really was a jerk. I picked up a book and tossed it right at his head.
Ouch!
Well, he deserved it. After that, I went back to solving my math assignment, but I was getting none of the answers correct.
Easy there, Tigress. Let me help you with those.
Help me? Do you even know the… Whoa! How did you do that? I was stunned that this guy who looked like he probably bought his grades with his dad's money was actually good at studying. He helped me with my assignments, and honestly, I was starting to feel that he wasn't so bad after all. Just as I was about to apologize for calling him a jerk earlier, Jacob barged into the library.
Thanks for keeping an eye on her while I was away.
Of course, Adam was just here to babysit me. I felt so dumb thinking he might be nice 2 seconds ago.
So, who's ready to go and watch the new Spider-Man movie?
OMG, I'd been waiting for this movie for months. I screamed so loud with excitement that the librarian kicked us all out. Later that evening, when we stepped out of the movies, it was pretty chilly. Suddenly, Adam took off his jacket and wrapped it around me. Such a good actor he was. I knew if it wasn't for their secret, he wouldn't care even if I was screaming for help. Soon after, he ran ahead to get the car, and that's when Jacob took my hand and suddenly pulled me close. Whoa! What are you doing?
Oh, come on. I can clearly see you're interested in me. That's why you're playing the blackmail game, to keep me close.
What? In your dreams?
That attitude of yours, it's just got me going crazy for you, babe. How about you give me a kiss now?
This jerk! I was about to push him really hard when suddenly Adam pulled him away and punched him hard in the face. Jacob landed on his butt.
How dare you touch her? What the heck, dude? Did you forget who you are? You're a stinky, low-life rat who lives off my leftovers. And how dare you touch me?
Low-life rat? What was he talking about?
I know who I am, but don't you dare touch her again. Because if you do, I'll shove those leftovers down your throat.
Whoa! It seemed like Adam was a whole different person. He took my hand and then we both left from there. All the way back home, he didn't say a word, and I could feel there was something about him that I didn't know. I was getting more and more curious. When we reached home, I handed him his jacket back, and I just couldn't stop myself. Adam, why did Jacob say all those things about you? I mean, you're rich too.
No, I'm not, Aura. I know it looks like that because I'm always hanging out with Jacob, but I'm a poor nobody.
I don't really understand.
My dad used to work for Jacob's dad, but he passed away a few years back, and I have a sick mom to take care of. Jacob convinced his dad to take us in, and he helps me with money. But basically, since then, I have to do everything he asks me to do.
Oh boy, my heart sank listening to that, and suddenly, I just hugged him tight. Thanks for doing what you did for me today, Adam, and I'm sorry.
Don't be. He totally deserves it, but I really wish you'd never seen us do it. And then you wouldn't be involved with jerks like us.
Seen what? Suddenly, he looked at me with surprise. The secret! He was talking about the big secret. Oh, yeah, totally saw that.
Wait a second. You don't know what it is, do you? Now that I think about it, you never really mentioned it because you don't know what it is.
I panicked, and then you guys assumed I knew your secret.
Aura, how can you even do something like this, knowing how bad Jacob is? If he knows you don't know, he'll… Oh, God, I can't believe this.
He stormed off angrily, and now my heart was pumping like crazy for what was going to happen next. The next day, when I reached school, I saw Adam was still hanging out with Jacob, but his face was full of bruises, like someone had hit him really bad. Of course, it was Jacob. Later, when Adam was all alone in the boys' washroom, I went in. Why are you letting him treat you this way? I know it's Jacob who beat you up.
What are you doing here? And I told you I owe him. Just stay out of it. I don't want you getting hurt.
But you're willing to get hurt all alone? This is wrong, Adam. You can't let him ruin your life like this. What he's doing to you and the other kids around school, this has to stop.
Yes, but there's nothing I can do.
You can. You've always been with him. You know everything he does. You can go and tell the principal all about it.
But I was there with him in everything he did. I helped him. If I rat him out, I'll be out of school and I'll be on the streets with my mom.
Just then, Jacob came out of nowhere and pinned me against the wall.
So, you're planning to ruin me, huh? You have no idea who you're messing with, little birdie.
And you have no idea who you're messing with, you ugly crow. I smashed my head hard into his face and he fell to the floor crying in pain. Adam grabbed my hand and we ran out of there.
I'm going to the principal. You're right. I can't be a coward and let him hurt everyone like this, especially you, Ora. I'll deal with the outcomes later.
I'll be right there with you. We went into the principal's office and Adam confessed everything, from Jacob's bullying incidents to the biggest secret of all. After the principal had told Jacob he was going to fail in most of his subjects, Jacob trashed the principal's brand new car one evening. He smashed the windows and the lights and spray painted all over it with Adam's help. The principal immediately called Jacob in and said he was going to be expelled. Since Adam had confessed everything, he was going to be suspended for a while and made to do volunteer work. And suddenly, Jacob went bonkers on Adam.
You filthy moron. I fed you and you backstabbed me. You're done too, Adam. Even if you aren't expelled, you can't stay in this school without me paying your fee. And your mom? Who's gonna pay for her treatments now? It would have been better if you had kept following my orders like a loyal puppy. And now, you're doomed.
And that's when Jacob's dad walked in, looking horrified.
That's enough. I had no idea I was raising such a brat. How dare you exploit this poor kid? Adam, don't you worry, son. I'm here for you. Dad, I'm so sorry. Not a word. Your principal told me everything on the phone, and the rest I've heard myself. I'm sending you to an army school right away.
Jacob kept begging his dad, but it didn't seem like it was going to work in his favor. When Adam and I walked out of the room, I turned to him and said, "How do you feel?"
Never been better. Thanks to you, Ora, I was able to be brave.
I'm just so happy things will be better for you. So now that there's no secret, are you still going to be nice to me?
Yeah, I'll carry your bag every day.
And then he pulled me in for a kiss.
Derek, wake up! Do you know what day it is? Said Tina. I said while wiping the sleep from my eyes. It was my little sister Tina, who had started a birthday countdown. Every morning she'd jump on my stomach to tell me how many days were left until her big day. 3 more days until my birthday! I'm so excited, Derek! I can't wait to open my presents. I know you'll get me something nice because you're the best big brother in the world! She exclaimed. My baby sister is gonna be 6 years old, I replied while ruffling her hair and giving her a hug. I was smiling, but I felt terrible. We're not a wealthy family. In fact, it's the complete opposite. My mom works at a little bakery, and my dad was recently laid off, so we have very little. I was given an allowance once in a while, but I never had much to spend on anything. I wish I could take my sister to the toy store and just let her pick out anything she wanted. She was my only sibling, and as an older brother, I was very protective. I wanted only the best for her, but I had nothing. I got out of bed and went to the kitchen to see what was for breakfast. Boring oatmeal porridge again. Mom, I'm tired of this, I groaned. Honey, I'm tired of explaining to you that we can't afford to spend money on exciting breakfasts, she replied. Yes, son, you should be grateful that you at least have something to eat. Many people don't, my father said sternly. I sat down and ate quietly. It was true. While I didn't have much, there were still many who had less, and I guess I should be grateful. Yum, said Tina. She was adorable. She liked anything. After I finished breakfast, I took a shower and got ready for school. My parents chose to send me to a private school because they believed it was better. It was costing them an arm and a leg, but they decided our suffering would result in me landing a lucrative career, which would eventually make them proud. Anyway, it was good because at least I got to wear a uniform, so my classmates would never know that I only had 2 or 3 outfits. Still, it sucked to be the only poor person in the entire school. Almost everyone at that place lived in mansions and had practically everything. Then there was me, the guy with one uniform because my parents could only afford one. I wore the same one every day. That morning, I was almost completely dressed when I realized I was missing a sock. I searched everywhere for it. It wasn't in the closet, on the chair, near my desk, anywhere. My last resort was to check under the bed. As I knelt and peeped in the darkness, I noticed a crispy $50 bill on the floor next to an old shoebox. What? I thought. I've never been able to save that much my whole life, so where did this come from? I picked it up and without a second thought, I shoved it into my pocket. I was so excited that I ran out of the house and was just in time to catch the bus. Luckily, my pants were long enough to hide the fact that I was still missing a sock. My day was quite uncomfortable. Have you ever tried walking around with a missing sock? But I caught up with my best pal Miles at lunchtime. You're so irresponsible. Anyway, you're lucky my parents are strict and that all I have in my house are books and board games. Otherwise, we'd be in the same boat, I replied. One day that'll change. You're the smartest person in our year. I'm sure you'll be rich someday, he exclaimed. Speaking about rich, this morning I found a $50 bill under my bed. That was so weird, I told him. He began to laugh. Well, Derek, I think you should check under your bed every morning. Maybe soon you can actually buy me more games. I laughed too, and then the bell rang, so we both went to class. When I got home that afternoon, Tina came running towards me with her hands in the air. 2 more days until my birthday. Have you bought me my present? She screamed. What do you want, anyway? I asked. I want an LOL doll, 2 Barbie dolls, a stuffed unicorn. She went on and wouldn't stop. I ate my boring dinner, did my homework, showered, and went to sleep. The next morning, I realized I still hadn't found my sock. I remembered Miles's joke and looked under the bed again. There was $100 there. Even though he meant it as a joke, it was really there, and much more than yesterday. All I could think about was what I'd buy for Tina. Her birthday was the next day. I quickly put my money into my pocket and left for school. After school, I went to the toy store and bought everything I could for $150. I walked home with my bag of presents, feeling like the world's best big brother. When I got home, Tina ran towards me like she usually did. Derek, 1 more day until my She paused. Are these all presents for me? She squealed. Yes, but you can't open them until tomorrow, I replied. You're the best big brother ever, she said and ran to tell our parents. I went to my room to change and started on my homework. Suddenly, I heard a knock on my door. Derek? It was my mom. Yes, Mom. How did you buy all those presents for your sister? You aren't doing anything you shouldn't be, are you? She looked at me suspiciously. No, Mom, I've been saving for a very long time, I lied. Okay, well, I just wanted to say thanks. Your father and I were only able to afford a birthday card this time, and I was going to take one of the leftover cakes from the bakery after work. So we're very happy she has presents. I'm happy I raised such a responsible young man, she said proudly. She walked away, and I began to imagine what I would do if the money kept appearing under my bed. But who kept putting it there? Was this magic? I was very confused, but it was making my family happier, so I decided not to think about it too much. Before I left for school the next morning, I made sure I checked under the bed again. Believe it or not, there was $200 there. After that, every morning when I checked, the amount of money increased by $50 from the previous day. In what seemed like no time at all, I had saved $1,000. The money was always placed in the same spot under the bed, and I could still not figure out where it was coming from. One afternoon, I decided to talk to Miles about it. I explained the situation, and he looked puzzled for a while. Then he finally replied, Dude, that's really weird. Anyway, we should spend some now. You deserve a few new things, and then we can spend the rest at the arcade. I agreed, and later we had a great time. I bought myself some new outfits, uniforms, a backpack, shoes, and yes, lots of socks. After we spent a few hours at the arcade, Miles came up with an idea. Hey, let's get some fake IDs and have some fun this weekend. There's this new club I want to check out, he said. I don't know if that's the best idea, but okay. How much is it going to cost? I replied. I'd never done anything out of the ordinary like that before. About $50 each. You just need to send me a picture by tonight and we'll have them the next day, he said. I gave him the money and he smirked. The next day was Saturday. I looked under my bed again and there was more money. Great, I exclaimed while I counted the hundreds. I put some away and put some in my wallet to spend at the club that night. Later I met Miles and he gave me my fake ID, which looked surprisingly real. I was now a 25-year-old man named Joseph. I laughed. Okay, let's go have some fun, I said. Yes, but before that, I have a surprise for you. We're waiting for 2 other people who will come with us, he said. Huh? I replied as I saw 2 of the most beautiful girls from our school approach us. "Here's your date, Derek. This is Stephanie. I'm sure you met before," Miles said. I had a crush on Stephanie since middle school, but she always ignored me. Tonight she was actually my date. I couldn't believe it. Stephanie looked gorgeous. She was wearing a purple mini dress and looked at me like she was actually excited. Hi, I said to her shyly. "Don't be shy with me. We're gonna have an amazing night," she replied. And that we had. My night was insane. We drank, danced, and partied like never before. Stephanie stayed by my side the entire time, and I was able to buy drinks for her and all of her friends. I felt like a real man. Here I was, outside partying and being able to buy my date anything she asked for. I don't remember anything else about that night, probably because I drank too much. On Monday morning, I was the talk of the school. Apparently I was so drunk that I ended up kissing Stephanie in the middle of the dance floor. Someone took a video and posted it on Instagram, and now everybody knew. It was the beginning of my new life. People actually knew who I was now. As the weeks went by, I became the most popular guy at school. I was dating the most beautiful girl, had the most expensive things, and so much money. Stephanie had become my world, even though she'd mostly talk to me when she wanted me to buy her something. She was just so irresistible, I did anything for her. My life was absolutely perfect. Until one morning. You ever wake up and just know that something bad was about to happen? Well, that was how I felt. I carried out my morning routine, and as usual, before I left the house, I looked under the bed. There was nothing there. Maybe the wind blew it away, I thought. I'll check again tomorrow. The next morning, there was no money again. The morning after that, there was no money. I tried to keep myself calm and went to school like nothing was wrong. I finally began to freak out after the 5th day. Had my luck just ended like that, with no warning? Instead of running for the bus that morning, I went to the living room and sat down with my head in my hands. "Derek, what's wrong?" my father asked as he came to sit next to me. "Everything. My life changed so much the past few weeks, and everything is going to suck again," I replied. "What on earth are you talking about?" he said. I told him about the money, the parties, Stephanie, my new popularity, and everything. He started to laugh. I couldn't believe it. I just spilled my heart out to this man, and he was just there laughing. "Well, son, there's something I should tell you," he finally replied. "What?" I said. "Your mother and I aren't poor. In fact, a few years before you were born, we inherited a great fortune. We chose to raise you and Tina like this because it'd teach you some important values, like honesty and generosity. I put the money under your bed every night to see how you'd behave when you had everything," he said. I was shocked. "In the beginning, you did well. You spent it all on your sister, but I don't know what got into you after that. You proved to me that you're not mature enough to handle any of this. Instead of saving or helping others, you chose to impress people and to become popular. You won't get another cent until you've left college, Derek. I'm sorry," he continued. I was in complete shock. Nothing made any sense. After that week, everything went back to the way it was before. Stephanie left me for some other guy, and the new friends I made wanted nothing to do with me because I was poor again.